When it comes to the biggest weekend in professional wrestling, few events carry as much weight as Ring of Honor's annual Supercard of Honor. The show has a long history of hosting some of the most important matches from ROH's deep archives. And it all started on March 31st, 2006, from the Frontier Fieldhouse in Chicago, Illinois. Let's take a look back at the first ever ROH Supercard of Honor. Before we go any further, I'd like to take this time to remind you all that you can watch the entire ROH Supercard of Honor event from 2006 on Ring of Honor's exclusive streaming service, Honor Club. Sign up today for access to one of professional wrestling's best historical archives and to catch up with present-day Ring of Honor events and matches. Despite its name, Supercard of Honor doesn't have the most exciting lineup on paper. We have a fun, if inessential, four-corner survival between Shane Hagedorn, Flash Flanagan, Delirious, and Ricky Reyes. Lots of simple and fun interactions in that one, ending with Ricky Reyes getting the win with a Dragon Sleeper. Reyes and Julius Smokes top it off by attacking Delirious after the bell, decrying him as just a gimmick in the wrestling-centric world of Ring of Honor. There's an enjoyable tag match between Alex Shelley and Jimmy Rave of The Embassy, taking on Claudio Castagnoli and Jimmy Yang. It's fun seeing Claudio and Yang make fools of the Embassy here until Rave finally gets the cradle for the victory. The first match with any major stakes to it is a Steel versus Chad Collier in a First Blood match. This isn't some famed hidden gem feud or anything, but it's a decent brawl. The intensity stays up through the entire runtime. Both Collier and Steel work it like an actual First Blood match, with both men focusing their attacks on drawing blood. There's some cool grittiness here too, with Collier going for a lot of headbutts and even biting. They do some fun weapon stuff too, and it's a good time. The match does fall flat a bit at the finish though. Collier's eventual wound isn't all that visible on any of the shots, and it's never a good sign when something that promises bloodshed can't quite deliver. Finish aside though, it's a fun brawl to fill the card. The first truly notable match on the card is a tag match between Austin Aries and Jack Evans of Generation Next against their newest stablemate Matt Sydal and his brand new partner, AJ Styles. There's a lot of real solid, competitive wrestling early on that especially allows Sydal to shine. Evans's flexibility also makes him a great ragdoll to be thrown around and stretched out in the ring as need be. And AJ Styles is AJ Styles, a once-in-a-generation level talent that's just immediately explosive and mean in the ring in a way that demands your attention. The match really picks up in the finishing stretch, with Sydal's face getting busted up, making him even more sympathetic. There's also an absolutely insane moment where Styles catches Jack Evans attempting a Sasuke special and converts it into a Styles clash onto the floor. All in all, this is just a great action-packed matchup that really speaks to the depth of the ROH roster at this time. Elsewhere on the card is a 6-woman showcase match featuring Lacey, Rain, Daisy Hayes, Mischief, Cheerleader Melissa, and Allison Danger. It's one of the shortest matches on the card and also has the distinct misfortune of having to follow one of the most famous matches in ROH history, but more on that later. Lastly, there's a 3-way match between Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, and Jimmy Jacobs. This furthers the years-long feud between Joe and Daniels that's played out in ROH and various other promotions in the 2000s. The addition of Jimmy Jacobs does a lot to suitably temper the stakes of this match. Jacobs is around to play a bit of a comedic nuisance and foil to the two ROH legends, while continuing his ongoing storyline with Lacey at ringside. It's a good match that's able to maintain the tension between Joe and Daniels, with Jacobs acting as a buffer to lead towards bigger things. A key theme on this show, as with most of ROH's events in the first half of 2006, was their ongoing rivalry with Combat Zone Wrestling. The show opens with Jim Cornette addressing the crowd and even calling out CZW throughout. The segment culminates with Cornette bringing out two masked unknown wrestlers that he essentially deems as the average quality of performer from CZW, who Samoa Joe and Adam Pearce then come out to dispatch in incredibly quick order. CZW's presence would make itself known all throughout the event, however. Even before the doors opened for the crowd, Chris Hero was spotted outside, harassing the fans who'd come to the show. Hero would then appear during the event itself, first coming out after the Embassy tag team match to berate Claudio Castagnoli for not siding with him in the war against Ring of Honor. He gets chased off here, but he won't be gone for long. Another major thread running through this show is the ongoing rivalry between Colt Cabana and Homicide. These two have had several vicious and violent encounters from late 2005 and early 2006, and it was all set to culminate on this show in a Chicago street fight. However, a brutal attack by Homicide the night before in Detroit left Cabana medically unfit to compete this evening. Instead, Homicide wrestled one of the graduates from the ROH Wrestling Academy, Mitch Franklin. The match is swift and brutal, with Homicide getting an easy win with the Cop Killer. Just as he thinks he might breeze through the night, Homicide is interrupted by none other than Colt Cabana. Injury or no, Cabana is on a hunt for revenge. Cabana and Homicide have a brutal brawl through the venue, unleashing all the hatred that's built up between them for months now. The encounter doesn't end well for Cabana, who ends up taking a chair shot to the head and a DDT to a ladder for his troubles. Cabana has been beaten and humiliated in front of his hometown, and there'll be hell to pay once these two finally get in the ring officially. The altercation between Cabana and Homicide is interrupted by Chris Hero, returning to the arena this time with the Necro Butcher in tow. This sparks a brawl that brings out Claudio Castagnoli, Adam Pearce, BJ Whitmer, and even Jim Cornette. Of course, the final nail in the coffin for CZW is Samoa Joe coming out to clear house. I love how these two moments, the altercation between Homicide and Colt Cabana, and the brawl between ROH and CZW, blend so seamlessly together. There's a real chaotic vibe to it all that underlines that beneath all the world-class wrestling that ROH built their name on, there were very real, dramatic, and violent blood feuds that added a lot of color to the product. If there's anything that the first ever Supercard of Honor is famous for, it's the 6-man tag featuring talents from Dragon Gate. Ryo Saito, Genki Horiguchi, and Dragon Kid, representing the Do Fixer faction, take on Shima, Naruki Doi, and Masato Yoshino of Blood Generation. One thing that gets lost in so much of the discussion of this match is how well structured it actually is. Much of the early action is dedicated to clearly drawing the lines between our heroes in Do Fixer and the much more villainous Blood Generation faction. Stuff like Horiguchi playing to the crowd to get an HAGE chant going does a lot to draw the fans' empathy for Do Fixer. It also pays off beautifully later in the match when Blood Generation take turns tossing Horiguchi around the ring by the last few strands of hair that he has left. Simple stuff like that really adds a lot of charm and character depth to something that could have easily just been a bright and brilliant fireworks show. With all that being said, the fireworks do in fact rule. Dragon Gate rules state that tags aren't necessary, and this allows the action in the back half to flow with a smoothness and ferocity that absolutely holds up to this day. The dazzling offensive combinations and high-flying maneuvers on display are just as spectacular in 2021 as they were in 2006. The action is so transparently excellent that Dave Prazak and Lenny Leonard stopped commentating it halfway through to let the match speak for itself. It's the kind of undeniable and canonical piece of independent wrestling history that everyone should experience. It's by far the most known match to come from this card, and probably one of the most famous matches from the 2000s in wrestling. There's really no understating the kind of influence this match had. From bringing more eyes to the Dragon Gate product, to influencing the kind of high-octane, non-stop pace that would come to define independent wrestling later on, this is a match that has rightly earned its place in pro wrestling history. The overwhelming positive reaction to this match was so strong that for a time, hosting big Dragon Gate 6-man tag showcases was an annual tradition at Supercard of Honor. Definitely go out of your way to see this match. You really won't regret it. The last match on the card, and the one we'll discuss to wrap things up, is the third ROH World Championship match between Bryan Danielson and Roderick Strong. This marks the end of a famed trilogy of title matches between them that began at 2005's This Means War. The second match from ROH Vendetta was wrestled in this very venue at the end of 2005, making this third match a fitting conclusion to their series of bouts for the title. I make no secret of the fact that, in my eyes, Bryan Danielson is the greatest professional wrestler of all time. Here, in his run with the ROH World Championship, he's able to display some of the qualities that make him truly an elite-level performer. Against someone as capable and excellent as Roderick Strong, there was no question that this match was going to be great. Probably its greatest success comes from its pacing. Of the 60-minute time limit, Bryan and Roddy used up 56 minutes. That's a pretty hefty investment of time for anyone looking to watch this. For the most part, Bryan and Roddy do an amazing job maximizing that space in interesting and ever-evolving ways. I wouldn't say the 56 minutes breeze by, but you'll rarely, if ever, feel like your time is being wasted with this match. There's a real clarity to things early in the match, like how Bryan is deathly afraid of absorbing the vicious chops that Roddy is famous for. Every time Roddy gets one of them in, Bryan is quick to roll out to the floor in an attempt to stunt Roddy's momentum and recover from the blow. In an attempt to counteract the chops, Bryan spends a significant amount of time working over Roddy's arm. There's something real great about watching Bryan control the pace of the match. Half the fun of this particular encounter are his little interactions with the crowd. Something like reacting to a fan calling him Bob Backlund by hitting an atomic drop is indicative of the kind of improvisational ability and charisma that separates Bryan as an otherworldly talent. When that proves insufficient and Roddy remains explosive as ever, Bryan instead takes advantage of a misstep from Roddy to go after Roddy's leg and take out his base. This also has the added effect of potentially neutralizing Roddy's varied arsenal of backbreakers that rely on dropping Bryan's body weight onto his knee. This does in fact come back to haunt Roddy in the finishing stretches of the match, as when he goes to string together a series of backbreakers, the effects of dropping Bryan on the knee becomes clear. Roddy's reliance on chops also bites him in the back in the deep waters. Bryan dodges one on the outside, leading to Roddy smacking the ring post full force with his hand. Like a shark drawn to blood in the water, Bryan targets the damaged hand and arm viciously, compounding a lot of the arm work he did earlier in the match. Bryan's cockiness also shines through in these moments, demanding Roderick to tap out to something as simple as a wrist lock. In the closing moments of the match, Roddy's able to survive a lot of punishment. He even endures the grounded crucifix elbows that knocked him out in Chicago just a few months prior. Roddy strings together a lot of beautiful and impactful offense, all culminating in grabbing the stronghold on Bryan in the middle of the ring. All the damage that Bryan did to Roddy's limbs pays off though, as he leverages himself into a pinning combination that gets him the 3 count and the victory. This is an excellent matchup, violent and vicious while still having the space and room to be fun with Bryan's interactions with the crowd in the middle. It is incredibly long, and while it might be the least of the 3 Bryan-Roddy title matches from this time, I think that's a testament to these two that something so great can be looked at as the worst of their efforts. An excellent match that is, in many ways, the tonal opposite of the Dragon Gate 6-man. This was wrestled at a much more deliberate, championship-style pace, which really highlights the kind of high bar of quality that ROH has always strived to put forward. This is a fascinating event to look back on in ROH's history. For one, the Supercard name does leave the matches that we were given here a little bit to be desired. There's just a little too much that doesn't quite live up to that billing. On the other hand, having a major epic-style title match like Bryan Roddy and an absolute iconic banger in the Dragon Gate 6-man still makes this an ROH card worth remembering. Even with its flaws, this event kicked off a long lineage of Supercard of Honor events that remains key to ROH's calendar every year. It also can't be understated what this event did for the pro wrestling industry in general. Hosting a major independent wrestling card with international talent in major marquee matches during WrestleMania weekend makes Supercard of Honor a bit of a prototype for what WrestleMania weekend would become in the future. One can draw a direct line from the Frontier Fieldhouse in Chicago in 2006 to the New Japan and ROH G1 Supercard in Madison Square Garden in 2019. It is an indelible part of ROH history and one that I recommend everyone check out. Hi guys, Joseph Montecillo here. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to catch up on more matches from ROH's past and present, be sure to sign up to Honor Club and subscribe to their YouTube channel. If you want to hear more of me breaking down and discussing pro wrestling, check out my channel and give me a subscribe while you're at it. You guys have been absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for sticking around, and have a good one.
Best on the Planet is Ring of Honor's 24/7 streaming channel. I, Jonathan Gresham, would like to invite you all to watch episode 500 with an exclusive 2-hour special presentation on Thursday, April 15th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Relive the top moments in Ring of Honor television, beginning with the very first TV main event. Then, for the first time ever, watch the free premiere of episode 500 of ROH TV right after at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, only on Best on the Planet. Download the free Stir app or the Plex apps and find the Best on the Planet channel in the live TV section. Then you're set.